That Boolean modifier performs operations on meshes that are otherwise too complex to achieve with a few steps by editing meshes manually. If you have watched my previous Boolean modifier tutorial, then you will recognize that basics of the modifier are still the same in Blender 2.9 compared to all versions 2.8 and below. But there happened some rework and not everything is working than before. My first video still gives you a more detailed introduction to the single modes of the modifier, and I will focus on the reworked functions in this tutorial, but gives you a decent overview of the modes as well. I want to answer a general question which has reference to modifiers. Yes, there is no apply and copy button anymore. You are now able to use shortcuts within the active object modifier list. Ctrl+A and Shift+D are working here by hovering the wanted modifier category. If you don't want to use shortcuts, then there's still this little arrow button here which executes the same result. And for sure you are able in 2.9 to rearrange the active modifier hierarchy list. But let's head to the main topic of this video. What is the Boolean modifier doing? With this modifier you get the possibility to let two objects or more interact with each other. You will need one basic object which should get modified, and probably you need to continue your work. So you need to add the Boolean modifier to it. Then you need a second object which should be the influencer of the first object. I think I gave you a very good explanation of those three bool modes in my first video. Nothing changed here since then. The union mode will merge volumes of two objects or more. The difference mode will use the second object as a cutter mesh and subtract it from the first object. And the intersect mode will create a new mesh of the overlapping areas from the two objects. The basic object will get significantly changed. New and very cool is the operand type selection. You are able to select an object or a collection from the outliner. This gives you the opportunity to use many single objects as the second object. If you want to use a bunch of objects which need to be added or subtracted of the basic object, then you don't have to do this with each single object using the Boolean modifier again and again. For sure you have the option to join all those objects to one single object and do some pre-work for the modifier. Or you just pull the objects in one collection and use this for the modifier operand type selection. Currently I'm not sure if the operand type with collections are working together with the intersect mode. For me, just the union and intersect mode are working so far. Write me to the comments if you have different experience with this. As well new is the solver section here. It is a method of Boolean modifier to calculate the Boolean process. You have two options, fast and exact. Basically I don't see an advantage to change this here. If you want to keep the modifier active and you don't apply it immediately, then probably this would be an option for you because the modifier will need performance for the preview. But if you just apply the modifier afterwards, then there is no need to change anything here, in my opinion. And that's all so far. Thank you very much for watching. It would be very nice to give this video a like and or subscribe to my YouTube channel for more game dev videos. Cheers!